Please bear with me. I just need to sort out a few things. I should be live on all 3 outlets. Just please give me 2 minutes. Good morning, America. I hope you're well. It's Wednesday, the 2nd of April, 2025. I don't normally trade with you on these days, but I decided to do so because I wasn't as active Monday and Friday because of, obviously, circumstances, so to speak. Also, I'm thinking that these markets are getting very interesting. I'm running a little bit late today because I was trading quite late this morning. So you will hear me eat a little bit. I initiated some tiny positions just as a sort of a marker or proxy for what I wanted to do. I'm seeing the US dollar is under pressure again today. As you can see, the gold is doing very well. Here's a daily chart and a weekly chart of the gold. No guessing where that's going. Anyway, I'm nearly ready. Sorry about my eating. I'll be done. I moved the stop loss to break even on these positions. Where is my Nasdaq chart? That's the one I'm missing. There we go. Right. President Donald Trump is announced to announce his next round of tariffs at 3 p.m. US Eastern Time. If I'm not mistaken, that is when the market... Or is that 1 hour before? Yeah. Well, that's going to be interesting. There's a nearly 200-point rally in the Nasdaq. I'm tempted to add to my position. In sterling dollar. Right. So what do we do? Is it business as usual? Probably not. If there is a major news item hanging over the market, what can we expect? I generally don't know how the market is going to react. And the problem here is that I can't go back and find a reference point either. Why? Well, because it's not every day that you get this kind of situation. According to Forex Factory, Donald Trump spoke on the 27th of March and the 26th of March and 24th of March. I was like, oh my. So it would just be pointless for me to show you past examples. I'm gonna have to try and read the market and attempt to flow with momentum. The price action that you're seeing right now is very identical to what you saw yesterday. Yes, yesterday we did have a weak open, but then you had a monstrosity of a rally that filled the gap and then back down again, back up again, drifted all through the night, and the market is now headed for filling the gap. Over in the Nasdaq, it's slightly different picture. You had a shorter week open and then a monstrosity of a rally filled the gap, back down again, closed on its highs, and here we are all the way back down again. And if yesterday's pattern is anything to go by, then we got a gap fill coming up. So as a trader, it's my job now to decide how do I navigate that. With great caution, I say. There will always be market conditions that are easier to navigate than others. Have you ever been on a winning streak and you thought, this time I'll really crack the market, only then to go through a losing streak and you're wondering, what am I doing different? How am I losing now after doing so well? And why am I giving all the money back that I made? My humble argument is that, yes, we need to look inwards, but it could also be that you're on a winning streak because the market played to your favorite hand. Let me think of an analogy. You are a tennis player and you have a very strong forehand but a very weak backhand. And then you happen to be playing against players that keeps playing to your forehand, and so you win with ease. But then they suss you out and they play to your backhand, and all of a sudden you're on a back foot and you are struggling. Maybe not the most perfect analogy, and I concede that I know a little of tennis, apart from like watching it. But I do play squash, and that is something that I recognize that there are certain angles that I am much weaker at than other angles. And if I play an opponent that susses that out to try and hide them, then you have to very quickly find something to antidote that. One tool I could deploy here is to go down on a smaller time scale and be a buyer below prior bar low if you look at yesterday's rally, do you see here that on yesterday's rally, you had no opportunity to do so? Every bar was a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So don't for one second think that that opportunity is going to present itself. It may just be that I go, you know what, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to buy the Dow here because I'm thinking this is going to fill the gap. So I'm just trying to buy any old retracement as I just did here. I'm just going to announce that in Telegram. If I look at the, I know I should announce this in Telegram, but let me just make the point here in the Nasdaq. In the Nasdaq 5-minute rally yesterday, you had not a single bar that went below prior bar low. Higher low, 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 higher low. Not until you made a lower low did the market actually do a 4-bar retracement to then go up and make a double top and create a sell signal here on a phishing signal, a bite, a very late one. So let me just post this. I've done it in quite small size, but I just want to see if I could be somehow part of it, and I'll probably place a stop loss about 40 points below the prior bar low. So I'll probably place a stop loss at 41. I don't want a 200-point stop loss, I can guarantee you that. I'll place a stop loss here. It's not particularly a big size I've traded either. Let me get rid of the... And I should really have done the same in the Nasdaq, but I guess I just got busy explaining this to you. Oops, I've already done that. $41,835, stop loss at $41,785. There we go. So I placed my stop loss below the low of this bar here because I would actually want to be a buyer down here. But I accept that if I get stopped out, right, I get stopped out. And this is not a terrible loss, 50 points. Not that I want that stop loss to be triggered, obviously. So let's see. Probably going to do a trade here in the Nasdaq as well. Please stand by. So currently trading at 360. I would have a long around 360 or lower and a stop loss around 280. So I'd probably want to trade that in smaller size as well. There's no guarantee that I'm going to get this price that I want. Maybe it'll run away from me. My Dow position is sort of hovering in and out of negative territory. Perhaps you bought the Nasdaq, but I was explaining it to you, and I didn't get that price at 360 that I spoke about. I didn't click buy. I'm okay. I got a tiny position in the Dow, and I'm quite alright with playing it a little on the safer side. Without sounding like a broken record, but I don't quite know what to expect of today. There will be times when the rule book is just thrown out and you feel your way. That long entry at 360 sure did look good now, doesn't it? Notice how the Dow went down in double bottom. I think Al Brooks calls that a micro double bottom. Down here, below prior bar low. Love to see an attack of 41,900, then I would move my stop loss up and add to the winner. In case you're curious about my screen setup, it's not overly technical. I trade from two different machines. One machine is where I trade one account, and the other machine is where I'm streaming. I'm trading another account. And then I have a simple chart set up, and that's that. I don't need anything else. You know, there's someone asked me, how can you be a professional trader and trade with such a simple web-based setup? But I'm thinking, what's that got to do with anything? You know, 100 years ago, basically trading on smoke signals, Morse, Telegram, and they were able to make money. I'm going to move my stop loss to break even. I might get stopped out. But if I get stopped out solely, that be it. It's just, as I said, I'm sort of trying to feel my way here. Yeah, bugger. Well, look, it was worth a shot. Let's see if we can find a different kind of entry. Maybe here. Maybe below. The low is 41,809. So let's see if we can get a fill below 41,809. There. Buying the Dow again. Below prior bar low. Let me see what it looks like on a 10-minute chart. Yeah, it looks okay. 41,799.8 is my entry. Don't think I can be completely unhappy with that fill. So if I take the length of the last candle, ooh, Jesus, 80 points. So you probably need to have a relatively big stop loss. I don't really want to have a big stop loss, you know that? Not today. I certainly don't want a 200 point stop loss, that's for sure. I'm placing my stop loss here. Just looking over at Nasdaq. I'm going to take a long position in the Nasdaq as well now. Oh wow, I am messing these messages up a little bit in Telegram. Sorry about that. Let me just amend this really quick. Where's my stop loss? 41,721. And then now the Nasdaq. Okay, so let me just show you the account, what's going on. One small long position in the Nasdaq, one small long position in the Dow. One's working, one isn't. And coming up to school run momentarily. School run would dictate a... Yeah, that's difficult with the overnight range. Let me show you what's going on. We've got 2 minutes to go before the market turns on the third 15-minute candle. So that entry in the Nasdaq is quite plain vanilla. Just took a long position below prior bar low. The range of the candle is about 50 points. I can't quite move my stop loss up, but to break even, but I can certainly tighten it up to 25 points. Still would love to see a gap fill. And I would add to the Nasdaq above 405. I'm playing it tight today, really tight. the account. Trading is sat at an all-time high. I think I'm going to close my Dow. I close my Dow for 0 or 1. I decided to stand on the sidelines in the Dow. That was not the right decision to make. Market is currently trading at 76. I would like to move my stop loss up to the low of this current 15-minute candle, which is at 41. So I'm 30 points in profit, so I'm going to move stop loss to break even. And I'm ready to add to my position. I thought I was playing it conservatively with the Dow. It turns out that I managed to close my position just the moment it took off. What do we got here? I closed it at 801 and now it's 875. So that was ill-timed. I'm being redeemed somewhat in the Nasdaq. Stand by. I'm going to add to my long position in the Nasdaq. The ideal entry is 405 or below. That's the school run trigger long. Maybe I will get an opportunity, maybe I won't. I can with almost certainty say that we will get a gap fill. I don't think I'm going to win any awards for saying that we're going to get a gap fill in the Nasdaq, considering we're 10 points away. That was me being a little scared, Nilly. Just going, oh, just, take it easy. And look at that. Look at that Dow now, humbling me. But, look at me. I'm a genius. We got a gap fill. Sarcasm, obviously. Now let's look at the daily chart. Could there be more in this? Well, yesterday's range was about 400 points. Previous day's range was about 400 points. What's the range today? 516, 416, about 3. So we already have a range of about 400 points. And we're above or trading at yesterday's high. And we got a gap fill. So what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen? Are we going to have a monster rally? Because Donald Trump has secretly leaked that it's not going to be so bad. Sorry, that was of course just pure speculation on my part. Look how cynical the markets have made me. So here's a snapshot of what the Nasdaq is doing. Is the FTSE and the DAX corroborating with this move? They're a bit hesitant. That close price there is just where we closed yesterday. That's all it says. So school run would dictate an additional long above 405. Currently trading at 420. It's 25. Just being patient. Let me see if there's any interesting questions. Ethan is asking me, why are CFDs at different prices than the futures I trade? Well, that's because the prices that you're seeing here, they are often stripped of dividends or premium until expiration. So your futures prices will have built in the premium for time decay, while CFDs are priced sort of on an ongoing basis. But if my CFD moves 10 points, your futures move 10 points. So while the prices are different, the candles should look the same. It looks like I'm going to get stopped out for nothing now. Huh? I had 80 odd points in profit. Now I got 5, 4, 2, stopped out for 0. Wow. Well, that's That sucks. Okay. So what do we do now? Do we take a school run short? I think we have to. I've taken a school run short. So we filled the gap and we went all the way back down again. And then of course it's yeah. So we could argue that that we should actually be long the Nasdaq because it's inside the overnight range. It was just the way that it was trading. When all the way up there, I had a chance to build on momentum, and it just didn't. I decided, it has triggered a long signal on school run. I think, and Dow has actually triggered a proper long. I am glad I'm trading smaller size today. Sorry, I should be showing you my Nasdaq position. and then the Dow triggered a long, but it's inside the trading range, so it really should be a short. I could be tempted to do a speculative short position in the Dow above 921. Got a short at 927. It's going to get hit now. How did that not fill? Because the high was 28.5 and with the spread. Fuck off. Ah! Come on! Seriously? Oh, there we go. Maybe I don't want to be short now. I'll put a 70-point stop loss just for now. Well, I got positive slippage there. Did you see that? I actually got a better fill than my order. I have a feeling I'm wrong on both. I'm about to be stopped out in the Nasdaq. My stop loss is at 416, currently trading at 380. But it's more that feeling of, yeah, you're not on the right side of the market, or you are too early. I'm gonna listen to my gut. I'm closing my Dow for losing 30 points, and I'm closing Nasdaq for losing 60 points. Yeah, my trades. Just posted them in Telegram. I had 3 break-even trades, and then I just had an 80-point loss. And the Dow is now proving me right. Do you think I'm a little bit out of kilt with the market, ladies and gentlemen? Is there a chance that I am the patsy? Huh? Oh, yeah. My euro dollar order is still active, yes. It's right here. Right there. Okay, okay. Probably the right decision to make in the Dow, it would seem, after all. Let's just look at this again. I've had a Nasdaq trade that was immensely profitable and got stopped out for zero. Got two Dow trades that were both profitable and got stopped out for zero. And now I've had two losses where I got out early because I felt unsure about the direction. That sort of sums up my, the loss is really small, admittedly, very, very small. Don't forget that yesterday I added £1,000 to the account, and so dropping £80 is hardly big bucks. And I also had a good trading morning eventually in Europe. But I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling a little bit today to read this. What's 80 pounds on a £23,000 account? It is 0.3%. So a third of 1% loss. That's probably well within the acceptable parameters, I think. Still, it has been a really strong rally and I've been trying to capture it. Well, maybe they are all waiting for what's going to happen tonight. Well, if it is my turn to have a losing US session, then let it be a small loss. I'm sort of just keep looking for an opportunity. And you know what's interesting? To me, is interesting is how Europe is not being inspired by this. I would like to show you. So here's the FTSE on a 30-minute chart. And we're sat well below the open and have not been able to get any kind of inspiration out of the rally in the US markets. And the DAX is still down at 1%. Oh, I would love to give you a winning trade. I don't want to short this Dow. I don't want to stand in the way. It doesn't look like it's going to give me an opportunity to, jump on board. I'm just going to take a 5-minute break. Yeah, just taking a break. see if something, and I'll be right back. Hi again. Yeah, I was just thinking about uh, how to answer an obvious question is, well, how do you join a trend like this? Well, in the ideal world, you are able to buy below prior bar low. That's always a really nice place to be a buyer. For example, if I remove the crosshair, being a buyer below this bar here, and you can swip around on the time frames, and the market will afford you opportunities. Another one is you simply say, okay, it's a strong uptrend, I'll buy for any reason. I remember distinctly my mentor Al Brooks talking about that. When Al Brooks did a speech in London, he in 2020. When was the symposium? 22? Whenever it was after COVID. Um, he actually added to a losing trade, and that's something I wouldn't necessarily do. But I thought a lot about his approach on that particular video that he posted, and I would be wrong to criticize someone like Al Brooks for adding to a losing trade, because he clearly can make it work. And I can also understand why there are certain situations where you think, okay, this is an area. I want to be a buyer around 20, right? Market goes 20. Great, I'm going to be a buyer. Well, the market goes actually down to 10. I'm going to add a little bit. But I suppose I wouldn't even say I'm old schooled. Rather, I'm a product of an environment where you've seen a lot of casualties from people who add to losing trades. And I myself, in my formative years as a trader, had trades that ran out of control as a result of adding to a losing position. Yeah, I think that's the best way that I can describe this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I would like to be a buyer of the Dow down here. That's exactly the principle. Of course, the higher the time frame that you buy below prior bar low, the more the impact. Because if you always do that on a 1 minute chart, you're going to get a lot of signals. Nasdaq seems to offer an opportunity as well, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to take a long position in the Nasdaq, and I'm going to take a long position in the Dow because they're one is by a prior bar low. I will have to put some. There are stop losses in there. Those stop losses are way out of proportion, so just ignore them. And I won't give these positions a whole lot of space. I kind of have to start working immediately. So, it's the Nasdaq. I'm currently 6 points offside, and the same for the Dow. Maybe I should just show the aggregate here on the account. So that's an attempt to be a buyer on a very small retracement. Trades like that will often have a skewed risk to reward ratio. You feel like you're risking a lot more than you probably make. You see that my stop loss is 150 points. I am obviously not going to have a need for a stop loss all the way down here to be proven wrong on buying below prior bar low. That just goes without saying. And the same in the Dow. I have just a standard 200 point stop loss. I am obviously not going to let the market go all the way down here before I stop myself out. When a position moves against me like that, I always go to a higher time frame. I'm thinking, did I just miss something? Did I just miss an obvious double top? And it's true, we did actually touch the top of the overnight range. So I am playing a dangerous game by being long here. I'm going to do the same. In the Nasdaq, and it seems that has done the same as well. Although I was kind of hoping that it would attack the old highs, and it seems like both of them are coming back a little bit now. So what you could do here is you could say, well, if I'm 20 points in profit, I'm going to move stop loss to break even. Dow certainly on a short-term time frame is doing exactly what I would be hoping that it would be doing. So, and the Nasdaq as well. does feel like this market is settling into somewhat of a trading range now. So I'm closing my Nasdaq here. That was a 10-point profit. And I'm closing my Dow here, and that's, I think, 14 points profit. Yeah, let me just show you the account. I'm trading really small here, and I'm not even trading my big account because I've decided just to wait this out. So you're not hearing me clicking away in the background either. So perhaps the most honest and transparent thing to do would be to just say, I'm leaving this alone. Yeah, I think we'll do that, ladies and gentlemen. I will probably be in touch with you later this afternoon, evening, night for some of you. I think it could be a very interesting morning, but I'm going to go in with my only position here is that base position I've established in sterling dollar. Someone asked me a really good question, and I want to be upfront about that. He said, I know you have a profit in sterling dollar, but every night you also paid an overnight fee. If you factor in the overnight fees, are you still in profit? And the answer is probably still, but not by a whole lot, because I pay approximately £1.50, about a pip per position, and that's the overnight fees. And you can see I have 3 positions. And they're sort of established on some slightly different times. So this one was established on the 18th of February. So if we're looking at that pragmatically, now it's the 2nd of April. So I've been holding that for approximately, let's see, how many days are there? What's the difference between 18th of Feb and the 2nd of March? Well, so there will be 13 days, 28 days in February. So that's 10, including what size 11 plus 31 days in March. So that's 42 plus another 2. So I would have probably paid approximately 45 days worth of half. So that's £22. So yeah, that one is still in profit, even factoring in the fees. But it would be nice if things actually started to happen in this position. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have the joy of having 180 questions asked in Telegram, so I'll probably attack some of them. And I'll just say it was a profitable day, but not overly so. Still holding above 23,000. So I'm still up more than 100% on the account. But today has not. It was a good morning in Euroland, but hasn't been here in the US. That has been difficult. I did have a really good trade in the Nasdaq, and I let that be stopped out for 0. Yeah, that sucks a bit. Take care of yourself. Good luck if you are trading this news item that is being released later. I hope it goes your way, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.